Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of An Alien's Journey. Today we're going to be talking about something very discussed lately. We're going to talk about debt. What is the good debt and bad debt, and how to use the good debt in order to put yourself in a better financial position. Let's dive into it. This crisis may have a bad impact on our money, and some of us needs to go in debt in order to keep themselves afloat. We heard about big amounts of debt, public deficits going higher and higher, and companies big and small going under because they couldn't pay their debt anymore. Debt might look like a relatively modern phenomena with stories about student loan debt and credit card balances, but actually, debt is a very old concept. In fact, writing itself was invented in ancient Mesopotamia in order to keep track of people's debts, and it actually predates the appearance of money itself. Researchers argue that was actually debt, not physical money, that made economies thrive for thousands of years. Debt made civilization possible by allowing us to keep track of who owns what to who more easily than physical bartering. And since the beginning of time we start having this love and hate relationship with debt. It can help you achieve your dreams way faster by taking a business loan and open your dream restaurant, or taking a student loan to pay for your graduate degree. Or in the same time, it can be very bad if you're not careful about it and you're over leveraging yourself. You can go under, and in case something happened and you cannot afford to make the payments anymore, this can drag you down a lot. There are two sides of the story. There is team offense that is saying that debt is great and it can help you achieve whatever you want and is like an unlimited source of money. And there is team defense, which is saying that debt is always bad and should be avoided by any means. Two of the loudest voices in this debate have been Robert Kiyosaki on the offense side and Dave Ramsey on the defense side. In his best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Kiyosaki claims to have learned some critical financial lessons from a friend's father, aka his rich dad. Such lessons include the power of education, the importance of working for yourself, and the importance of investing with other people's money. He writes in his book that good debt helps you get rich. Bad debt keeps you poor. If you want to get rich, load up with good debt. In his view, good debt is a way to build something out of nothing, and it's allowed him to build a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio and multiple businesses. As anything in life, this also has to be taken with moderation, and critics of Kiyosaki are pointing that this strategy helped him go into bankruptcy a couple of times on a few occasions on different businesses. On the other side, we have Dave Ramsey, who starts his radio show with the tagline, "Debt is dumb and cash is king." He advocates that having no debt by any kind, even a mortgage, it's a milestone of success. He goes all the way to say that good debt is actually an oxymoron, and this kind of makes sense in the light of his personal story. In his mid-20s, he built up a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio purchased with mortgage debt, and when the bank called all his notes at once, he went in 1 second from a billionaire to bankruptcy. Critics of Ramsey are arguing that, for starters, it's nearly impossible for most people to buy a home without a mortgage. Even Ramsey has a mortgage company advertised on his show. But let's see what's the difference between good debt and bad debt, and what's the definition of each of it. A good debt is to touch the like button to turn blue. Thank you very much, it's helping the YouTube algorithm. And now let's proceed further. On Investopedia we can find a definition for good debt, that if the debt you're taking, it's helping you generate income and increase your net worth, that can be considered positive. Or easier than that, if the debt you're taking is making you money, that's a good debt. If the debt you're taking doesn't make you money, don't take it. While good debt can help you increase your net worth, it's considered to be bad debt if you're going and buying depreciating assets like a car or fancy clothes or shoes. In other words, if it doesn't go up in value or doesn't generate you income, you should not go into debt to buy it. But here we can have another discussion. Let's say you want to finance a car. That's a bad debt, right? Because as we discussed, a car, it's a depreciating asset, so you should not buy it on debt. But let's say you have the option to buy it cash upfront, or you have the option to finance it. If you're having a good deal on the car and you have like a 2% interest rate annually, it might make sense for you to finance the car and take the money and invest them in a stock market for a 6% average return. and like that you're profiting the difference between 6% and 2%, you get the 4% annual return on your money. So in this case, it makes sense for you and it's not a bad investment to finance the car and put your money somewhere else. This strategy is called leveraging and is the action of borrowing money at a cheap interest rate and invest them somewhere else to profit the difference. But it's very important to don't buy something just because you can finance it. If you don't have the money to pay for it upfront and it's a depreciating asset, don't finance it by any means. But if you can pay for it upfront and you choose not to because you can make more money with that money investing somewhere else, that it's a good investment. Actually, it's a good debt, so you can take it. With the debt, you can play a defense game or an offense game, and this depends very much about your capacity to handle debt. The thing you need to know is that debt is not always bad, and if you have the education, if you have the self-control and the persistence to make smart decisions, this could be like a very well played offense game. But if you waste it, you abuse it, and you use it to buy consumer things, it will burn you. So make sure you load up with good debt that puts yourself in a good future financial position, and stay away from the bad debt. This was my video about debt, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know down in the comment which is your relationship with debt. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet. Hit the like button and see you next time. Thank you. Bye.